Dahil naniniwala kami na posible ang isang mas mabuting lipunan at maaari itong simulan sa isang kwentuhan.
Friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ear.
Do you long for a good spiritual read? Or for literature that not only feeds the mind, but nourishes the soul as well? Do you want to be inspired, feel positive and hopeful about life? Then read The Windhover, the official magazine of the Jesuits in the Philippines. Written by Jesuits and their lay partners, The Windhover features real stories about the Jesuits and their various ministries. Be inspired. Be blessed. Subscribe to The Windhover. For inquiries, call the Philippine Jesuit Aid Association at telephone numbers 426-6001, locals 4890 or 4892. Once again, Philippine Jesuit Aid Association, telephone numbers 426-6001, locals 4890 or 4892.
You're listening to the voice of the Blue Eagle.
You know what it is?
On the Simulcast Radio. Radyo Katipunan, 87.9. The Jesuit Hour. Get to know the Jesuits. Discover their spirituality, their history, their ministries. The Jesuit Hour. Anything Jesuit, everything Jesuit. The Jesuit Hour. Radyo Katipunan, 87.9 FM.
Tara na't simulan ang inyong umaga sa mga magagandang refleksyon tungkol sa ating buhay at pananampalataya. Kasama sina Father J. Boy Gonzales at Father Nono Alfonso ng Kapisanan ni Jesus, Binibining Risa Singson Kaupeng ng Feast Magazine, Father Fiel Pareha mula sa Archdiocese ng San Fernando, Pampanga, at Cardinal Luis Antonio Tagle. Dito sa Kapet Pandasal sa Radyo Katipunan 87.9 FM.
Baka naman pwede.
Baka naman pwede?
Baka naman pwede. Mga isyung napapanahon, ating pag-usapan. Baka naman pwede. Gamit ang mga pananaw mula sa iba't ibang kalinangan.
Baka naman pwede.
Mula sa Institute of Philippine Culture, kami inyong samahan. Tayo'y maghuntahan. Dito lang sa
Baka naman pwede.
Tuwing Huwebes, alas 3 ng hapon, dito lang sa Radyo Katipunan, 87.9 FM.
Radyo Katipunan. News, insights, inspiration. Radyo Katipunan. Down from the hill and down to the world. Radyo Katipunan. The voice of the Blue Eagle.
Radyo, 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 Katipunan, radyo, Katipunan, radyo, Katipunan, radyo, 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 Katipunan, radyo, 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 Katipunan. Sa The Blue Eagle kami di mapipigil sa pagbabalitang tumpak at tama. Buhay at tenista
loob sa labas ng eskwela, ating ibibida lahat ng buwela. Radyo, 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 Katipunan. Radyo, 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 Katipunan. Radyo, Katipunan. Katipunan. Kawal ni Ignacio, Katipunero sugod, todo sa kayod, tulong at tulong. Lipat na Blue Eagle, kaning giting nagigil. Blue and white, one big fight. Radyo, 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 Katipunan. Radyo, 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 Katipunan. Radyo, Katipunan. Katipunan. Radyo, 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 Katipunan. Radyo, Katipunan.
Welcome to RK Sports, where we take you right into the action with the highlights, insights, and analysis of the sports scene in, around, across, and beyond the Ateneo. With your hosts, Anthony Perez and Mookie Borja. Katipunan. Game on.
Alright, what is up, Blue Eagle Nation? Welcome back! It's our first ever episode of the brand new year, 2024. And returning to the studio again is me, Anthony, as always, bringing you another exciting edition of Radyo Katipunan Sports on this Thursday afternoon. We are live via RK on Facebook, YouTube, and 87.9 FM on your FM band. And joining me, after all his holiday eating extravaganzas, is the young fella Mookie B, who doesn't seem to have gained that much weight.
Thank you for saying that. I feel a lot bigger than when we last spoke. But yeah, I had a really fun Christmas break. So Anthony, I don't know about you, but
nice.
I was around family and we went around and just the food.
Yeah.
One word. Food.
Ganun talaga. That's parang there's no Pinoy holiday gathering that's complete without tons and tons of food.
Especially during Christmas.
Yes. Diba? But from the holidays, I know parang naipon Mookie. We had lots of
much
sports
news,
stuff going on during the holidays. So Mookie and I will try to, focus on some heavy hitters for this afternoon. Some parang it's our own college basketball's version of a Woj bomb, should I say? Diba?
Yeah.
But first, Mook. No. Speaking of food, no. Can Jollibee just please get Dwight Howard a Chicken Joy commercial? I saw him.
Yeah, he was holding like a big bucket.
Of freshly fried Chicken Joy. Because, of course, Dwight Howard is over here. He's going to represent Strong Group PH in the Dubai International Basketball Championships next week. And get this, Mooka, he's already like poised to become the pitch man for Chicken Joy.
Yes.
Like in an interview, he said this. What made me say yes? At first, I thought it was Jollibee. But now, it's just the fans. Share the free time NBA Defensive Player of the Year. I mean, look, marketing-wise, Jollibee.
I know, it just makes so much sense. His hashtag now on Instagram is Smile Tour. That makes so much sense for Jollibee. Like, just cut the check. Like, we won't even take credit for the idea. Just it's a match made in heaven.
Knock. No, rewind like 2011. Even Kevin Durant had a Smart commercial.
I know.
Yeah. He was on posters of Smart. So if Smart can do that for KD, then Jollibee. Please.
Dwight Howard loves your products.
Pero Mok, I just want to key in on Dwight. I mean, he's been, responding to interviews saying he really wants to play in the PBA. Like, he's interested in it.
Yeah.
And he is, should I say officially or unofficially, he's 6'9" without shoes. So he passes the height limit. Pero, like, for the PBA, he just ditched the height requirement.
Right. Yeah.
Or the height limit or whatever.
Dwight Howard's a very special talent, not to if he wants to play in your league, I think you make all the things happen or rules changed for him to join you. Because I mean, he was left off the top 75, but arguably could have been penciled in.
Yep.
So I think it would be an honor for the PBA to just get fans in seats again watching the PBA and just because Dwight Howard is still a pretty good player. Like,
Yeah.
he's not in the NBA anymore, but then that's because of his lack of shooting and how the game's changed. But here, just as a pure like marketing draw, like people will come to see him.
I mean, if anything, no, what the PBA needs is star power.
Yeah.
To bring fans back to the arena.
Yep.
Diba? I mean, with players now opting to play overseas, so the caliber of players, it's not quite what it was. Right. So you need a bigger draw. You know what I mean? So
but hopefully, the PBA comes to their senses, and Dwight's been loving it here. All of the videos I've seen, all of the shorts all of the reels I've seen, seems to be loving it here so far. So, yeah.
Dwight Howard, I don't know, maybe like TNT could use a big guy. We'll see. We'll see. But anyways, back to college basketball news. It's weird, no? Like, rarely do we get some major like waves of news during the college basketball off season.
Yeah.
But this one is pretty major because it also affects us. And
directly.
And actually, it was to our listeners right now. It was Mookie who brought this up during our Christmas episode.
Yeah.
Where he brought up some chismes going on that our Blue Eagle coaches were down in Cebu.
Right.
Scouting or potentially trying to reconvince an Atenean who gave his verbal commitment to another school, Cross Katipunan, to reconsider his decision. And of course, we're talking about J House finding a new home.
Yeah.
Jared Bahay has officially decommitted from the UP Fighting Maroons. This was announced last January 5 by the team and Coach Bo Perez.
Yes.
So, okay. Mookie, you're Jared Bahay. You're the top rank high school player.
Highly sought after.
Highly sought after, high school prospect. And, you've already, again, gave your verbal commitment to another UAP school. But now, what can make you reconsider your decision if you were in his place?
Well, I think just watching this past UAP finals, you could see that just the lineup of UP is pretty stacked, especially in the guard position. You see that someone as close to Coach Gold as Terrence Fortea barely getting any minutes, especially during the finals, which you expect. That's one of his guys from high school. You would expect him to be there during the finals, but he wasn't really used a lot. And I think that's one of the main reasons or main points made by maybe the Blue Eagle staff who came down there. I mean, if you want to have a future, have a career, not just like in the UAP but moving forward, you have to have the minutes played.
Yeah.
You have to show your worth,
Yeah.
especially if you're as talented as Jared Bahay, And I know he's just in the high school level, but he is very talented.
Yeah.
So I think that's one of the main points you could give him and say, if you go to UP, you're gonna be behind Maymay Kagulangan, who's staying one more year. You're gonna be behind Janjan Fericilda, who's still there. You're gonna be behind Harold Alarcon. You're gonna be behind Cyril Gonzalez. All of these guards, Jerry Abadiano, all of these guards who, are closer to Goldwyn since his NU days in high school. So, you're gonna have to compete with that. It's pretty hard. But if he went to Ateneo, if he went to Coach Tab, then I put in our notes, he's gonna be PG1, assuming he's committing to us this time.
Yeah.
He's gonna be given the keys. He is the point guard that we really needed last season. We drove this like again and again during our shows during the season, but last season we really needed a point guard.
Yeah.
A solid, just steady point guard that we had in the past, but last season we didn't. So I'm very happy that now we have J House. it's been so fun just thinking about next season already and how exponentially our chances are up there again. You know, I mean, the Sal is always there, UP is still there, so I'm just happy that we're back in that conversation.
This was, by the way, to our listeners right now, this is one of Mookie's Christmas wish list options, for 2023. But yeah, Mookie, it's not for Jared Baez's case, like with the glut of guards that UP has. It's not a question of is he talented enough to compete for a spot.
Yes.
No, it's just that the sheer number of guards right
Yes,
there.
yeah.
Diba? It's gonna be a tough roster spot to crack.
And a lot of those guards are proven within the system of Coach Go.
Yeah.
So it's very hard to crack that, rotation right away, especially as a kid. No matter how highly sought after, no matter how highly ranked you are.
Yeah. So, of course, Jared Bahay just led Sacred Heart School Ateneo de Cebu to a successful title defense at the recently concluded CESAFI Season 23 Juniors Tournament. The Cebuano guard was also hailed as the best of the NBTC 2023 class, becoming the first non-UAAP and non-NCAA player to achieve the feat. Like, from your observations of Jared Bahay, what's his player comp right now in the UAP?
Ooh.
Do you have one? Or sige, just maybe sort of try to paint a picture of how his game is like.
I think he's an excellent scorer.
Okay.
He can drive. He's very small. As small as the UAP guard can get, but then he's really talented. He can drive. He can make shots. And more importantly, this is the thing that we really needed. We just needed a leader. A really confident point guard who, plays, who knows how to play the Filipino way, passing the ball, doing everything as a guard. I think we really needed that. And, as a comp, I said that, I don't know if this is a stretch, but I'll go there. I think he's as good as, like, Kiefer coming into college.
Wow.
Yeah, I'll go there.
Wow.
Yes.
Mookie just said it.
I'll go there. He's
The great
I see a lot of young Kiefer in him.
Loyola Mamba.
Not the
Man.
Maybe not the hops or not the athleticism, but definitely the scoring and the leadership. It's really the leadership that stands out for me.
Wow.
For him to just what you said, for him to be the first non-UAAP or NCAA high school player to win best players, it's unheard of. He's really something. So, for him to be PG1, Coach Tab always loved Jared Bahay. Like, during our championship run 2 years ago, he was there during Game 3 to watch how to win.
Yeah.
How to win a championship. So, he wanted that to rub off him, maybe to get the sense of, this is how you play big games. I know you've been in big games down in Cebu, but this is the whole Philippines
level,
is
man.
watching. Yeah, so I think he can handle it.
Yeah.
Coach Tab's system is built for great point guards, and I think we have another one with J House.
But Mookie,
I'm confident. If I'm wrong, then I'm wrong.
maybe not at the same level of impact.
Yeah, and
right
not
away.
like hype wise. I don't think so. But
Okay,
then
yeah. But you're talking about more of the package.
play style, yes, package.
Okay.
Yeah.
Kasi baka mamaya may magsabi dito, Mookie Borja is making a hot take. Okay, no. We're trying to clarify that right now.
Yeah.
No? Okay, so there we have it. Scoring point guard who's fearless,
Yeah.
diba? Who can be a leader. Is that something that I'm running through the current list of the point guard depth chart right now. So 2023 we had Jared Brown. He's gone from the program, diba? So that leaves Ian Espinosa, who's a feisty guy.
Yeah.
Diba? He's a undersized but feisty. Gab Gomez,
Still there, yes.
solid 3-point shooter. LeBron Nieto, bringing the pedigree. Do you put Jared Bahay ahead of them?
Yes, I really do. I put Jared Bahay over the three of them, and barring maybe improved LeBron Nieto, who I have gone on the record and said like he should be PG1, not knowing of course Jared Bahay would be back, but I think he's better just offensively, one of the reasons why we struggled last season was because we didn't really have a lot of offensive firepower, to say the least. Like, yes, we had Mason Amos. Yes, we had Kai Balungay. Occasionally, we had Chris Kuhn. But we needed a consistent offensive guy who, could just score. Because we would go on these really long droughts of without scoring. And our defense could only do so much. So we needed someone who could take over games. And I think Jared Bahay should start and should be over those 3 point guards. No matter how capable all those 3 guards are. And they are very capable. Aina Espinosa has been in the Blue Eagle program since he was in high school. And Gab Gomez is a champion.
Yeah.
So let's see what Coach Tab ultimately decides. But I'm very confident he's going to be PG1 for the Blue Eagles next season.
All right. Now you have your de facto go-to point guard at that spot.
Yeah.
But I don't know, Mookie. So we talked about the basketball side of things, but also an incentive for a guy to transfer schools is, of course, familiarity.
Oh, yes.
Diba? And switching back over to the blue side of things, Jared Bahay gets a chance to reunite with Sacred Heart School Magis Eagles teammates, former Magis Eagles teammates in Rafi Celis, diba? Michael Asoro.
The big three. The big three in Cebu is reunited again. And, those 3 did a lot of damage down there in Cebu. They were a force to be reckoned with. When they came over here in the NBTC, they absolutely dominated the NBTC tournament. So, it's very exciting. Rafi Celis, had glimpses with the few times he was given a chance to play last season. He did a lot of the dirty work. He rebounded. He was able to...
Had a game at 11 boards.
Yeah. So, and he's pretty tall. So, I'm really excited for that. Looking forward, we have Kobe Demisana, who's, gonna play who's suiting up for us next season. He was also from UV IS. So, it's very exciting how young this team is. We haven't really had a young team in a while. We've had lots of these past few championship teams have like veterans all over.
I get you.
Written all over. But now this is like a young team trying to, get back at, champions. UP has been a champion with Coach Gold, and now Coach Topex and LaSalle are now champions too. So we're trying to get back on that level. So with these young players.
That's a fresh new narrative, though. The young upstart
the
Ateneo Blue Eagles. Because we've always been like a veteran-laden squad.
Yeah, we haven't been a young team since when Tab first came.
Yeah.
And
okay.
This is like year 7, year 6 of Coach Tab. So it's
interesting.
Right.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And so, okay, Mookie, we covered the basketball side of things, the familiarity with former teammates. But number 3, I would say that IG live session with Mason Amos and Kyle Gamber helped in Jared Bahay's reconsidering his decision.
We're lucky there's no tampering here in the UAP, or else that would be a clear red. But Jared Bahay was friends with all of these people, with the Gilas, with his Gilas stints and everything. So, Kyle Gamber didn't get a lot of playing time, but speaking of young Blue Eagles, he has a chance to make a name for himself next season, I'm sure. And, ever since the news officially broke, I've been thinking about the Mason Amos, Jared Bahay pick and roll.
Wow. Pick and pop, no?
Pick and pop.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to see that. Just the talent of those two together. The shooting of Mason Amos we saw last season. It's pretty deadly when he's on.
Yeah.
So, with a threat like Jared Bahay, calling the shots, you never know what the outcome of that pick and roll can be. So I'm very excited to see that.
Now, Mookie, looking at the larger scope of things, now we've convinced the hottest prospect to stay home with Ateneo. But there's also a UAP arms race going on diba? Outside of Ateneo because our best friends from Taft Avenue are, I think, poised to secure the new services of outgoing San Beda King Lion in Jacob Cortez, who, by the way, just this morning on his Instagram, confirmed that he indeed will
Yes,
be leaving
yes.
the Red
He
Lions.
is-
Then it's all but sure that he will go to the LSU.
Yeah, no, he is going to DLSU. His dad played there. It was funny when San Beda won. Congratulations, by the way, to San Beda
Yeah.
for winning. Coach Yuri, former Blue Eagles assistant coach. It was funny after they won. Former Green Archer Mac Cardona kind of spoiled the news for everyone, saying spoiled the San Beda party, saying that Jacob Cortez is going to the Sal.
Yeah.
But then, it's hard to beat, your dad's legacy, and you want to join the team that your dad played for. So it's hard to do that. Dave Ildefonso did that with NU before. He went to NU for the first 2 seasons before coming back here. So it's hard to beat family, I guess. But they're losing Evanele this season. So that's gonna. So Jacob Cortez, after the residency, is gonna definitely help them this season. And he's not the only point guard joining them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kian Baclaan
Yes.
might or has he committed?
I think he has, or I think he's leaving NU. That's the news. But
yes.
it's almost confirmed too that he is joining Coach Topex in LaSalle. So
Right.
yes, you said arms race, especially the guards arms
Yes.
race. You see, UP's already stuck. They already have all of their guards they
Yep.
need for the foreseeable future. But for Ateneo and LaSalle to get these three really big, really great point guards. And we haven't even mentioned UST, who next season have Kyle Paranada and Fortsky Padrigao in their lineup. So those are also two very capable scoring-wise, leadership-wise with Fortsky. Just absolutely can turn that UST team around like overnight. Coach Pido can hopefully steer them the right way. But those two guards are Spitfire guards. Fortsky's a champion. He brought us home the 2 seasons ago. So I'm very happy for us, but I'm also pretty worried about the guards being more scattered this season. Everyone moving to the UAAP after Jacob Cortez moving from San Beda.
That's gonna be exciting.
Yeah.
Bahay versus Cortez.
Yeah,
Dueling it
Upcoming
out.
season. But
No.
yeah, congrats to Sal too. Like their program's doing really well. I wasn't expecting them to get as much better than I thought. This was gonna be like their peak, this one championship, and then they were gonna go back down to earth. But getting Kian Baclaan as well, Kian Baclaan was amazing. I think he scored a lot of 20-point games for NU this season, last season rather. So they definitely need him after losing Evanele, who was really big during the championship run. He was so steady for them. Even if he didn't make shots, even if he didn't make, threes as he's well known for, he led that team together with Kiambao, together with Mike Phillips. So really, really interesting how LaSalle still kept their shape.
And lest you forget, Kevin Kiambao is still right
Still
there.
there.
The MVP
Still
will be
there.
back. So just, again, UAP teams stockpiling talent left and right. But this got me thinking, Mok, just before we went on air, with this latest move, Jacob Cortez going to De La Salle, diba? Shifting leagues from the NCAA to the UAP. I mean, it's sort of telling on how players they themselves recognize that the UAP is no disrespect to the NCAA, but it's still the premier.
Yeah, it's the
league
prestigious
in the country.
Yeah, it's the college. It's the college league that every kid watches. Everyone wants to play for. Like, I know the NCAA is a pretty, in terms of parity, they're more. There's more parity in the NCAA with like the teams, and they got rid of the import foreign players, which was I think.
Like, I don't know what other people think about it, but
Yeah.
I think it kind of held them back.
Yeah.
The development of the players.
Right, yeah.
Parang you would say na, foreign student athlete is gonna take my place on the roster. Yes, but it forces you to level up your game.
Right.
Diba? To make the team.
Yeah, you're gonna want to play with these foreign athletes so that you can get better, you can learn more because these are different perspectives, different basketball minds you're getting. So
But anyway, like, I think, ano lang, Mook, no? Parang we do have quality coaches in the NCAA, like Coach Yuri, Coach Charles Stew.
Yes.
But I think the overall quality of coaching in the UAAP, top down, just sort of went to a whole nother level with the entrance of Tab Baldwin.
Yes.
Like, diba, now you see coaches like Coach Goldwyn getting wins off of Tab Baldwin. You didn't see that before. Now you have diba, Topix Robinson switching to the UAAP, Coach Olsen, even Jeff Napa.
Right.
Is a very
Jeff
capable
Napa's
coach.
a really, really good coach. And I think even moving back before Coach Tab, Alden Ayo moved from Letran to LaSalle. That's how much LaSalle wanted Coach Ayo, but then at the same time, he wanted to move to a bigger platform.
Yeah.
No disrespect again to the NCAA, but the UAAP is definitely a bigger platform for these players and coaches to show that I can lead this team, I can breed these players to become the best team, and it shows during the preseason when they match up against each other, NCAA teams versus UAAP teams. Especially the better UAAP teams versus the better NCAA teams. Pretty glaring, the differences. But, I hope the NCAA is still pretty talented.
Yeah.
Even without Jacob Cortez. I think the San Beda program is fine moving forward without Jacob Cortez because they were a young team. And much like us, they have more pieces to build around even without Cortez. So, no disrespect to the NCAA, but the UAAP is really the place to be if you're a player and definitely if you're a coach.
Yeah, and this is not Mookie. We're not saying that UAAP is Division 1, NCAA is Division 2. No. It's more of a 1A, 1B thing.
Right.
Like I get the appeal of the NCAA. It's when you watch it, it's Pinoy brand of basketball.
It's very fun to watch. I'll give them that. I think the Mapua versus San Beda finals was a lot of quality. I watched that over the break, especially the third game. I loved how San Beda came back because they were fighting that whole game and just the poise Coach Yuri instilled in those boys. That's why Jacob Cortez, was really calm under pressure. That's what LaSalle needed. That's what LaSalle did during the finals. So to see, they saw that in him and they were like, okay, we definitely need to get him. He fits everything we do. And, sad for San Beda, but if you're LaSalle, you just got another point guard who's clearly capable of winning a championship for you.
I mean, you encapsulated it, no? Parang NCAA, very entertaining to watch. I like the physicality.
Oh, yeah.
But in terms of producing top-tier talent with the capability to play internationally, just take a look at the handful of UAP stars playing in Japan.
Right.
Diba?
Yeah.
Playing in Korea right now. I mean, that's it.
Or even playing in the PBA. Like, Coach Tabaldun has almost like a perfect record of players being drafted in the PBA. If they're eligible.
Even end of the bench guys,
right. Yeah. So, like, you really want to play for these coaches. You want to play for these programs so that you have a better chance especially if you want to continue playing basketball.
Yeah. For sure. All right. So, that wraps up our, college basketball off-season what's this news?
There's probably going to be more news to come over these next few months.
You can expect that.
Yeah.
You can expect that. But we're going to be switching over to a different kind of court in a different sport because it's Grand Slam season, everyone. January is here and so comes the Australian Open 2024. We'll take a quick break and we'll resume after these.
Hey, Katipuneros, don't change that dial because we'll be coming right back.
Oh, Fabio! 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 Ready? 1, 2. Fabio! Fabio! Hey! Initiativa! Inawina! Initiativa! Inawa! Ora! 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 Ateneo! Ra!
Feeling blue? Ever thought of looking into the bright side of things? let us help you out. Join our light, engaging, and inspiring conversations with our Chaplains on Air. Hosted by Father Junji Bargayo and Father Henry Ponce of the Society of Jesus. Chaplains on Air. The chaplains are now in. Here on Chaplains on Air. Thursdays at 6 p.m. only on Radyo Katipunan 87.9 FM.
Join Cardinal Luis Antonio Tagle as he delivers to us the preachings of the Sunday's Gospel that's awe-inspiring yet easy to understand and appreciate. Let us all listen to the Word of God here on The Word Exposed on Air, only on Radyo Katipunan 87.9 FM. Radyo Katipunan. News, insights, inspiration. Radyo Katipunan. Down from the hill and down to the world. Radyo Katipunan. The voice of the Blue Eagle.
All right. Welcome back to Radyo Katipunan Sports. Earlier, Mookie and I were going over some, very emphatic news in the college basketball scene. But before we pause for a quick break now, we did mention that it's time to switch courts, switch to a different sport, because tennis action is about to be full swing down under. Yes, you heard it right. The Australian Open will kick off the 2024 Grand Slam calendar, and players are bouncing back from their off seasons left and right. I myself am very, regularly playing pickleball again. Mookie is busy with his tennis on some weekends.
Yes.
Diba? He also plays. All right. So, Australian Open, Mookie. Let's first sort of give a recap of what happened in 2023. So the 2023 edition of the Australian Open saw, as we all know, Novak Djokovic cement his status, or is he? I mean, he is already as the GOAT.
Far and away.
He won his 10th Australian Open singles title, straight sets win versus the Greek talent Stefanos Tsitsipas, whom Mookie isn't quite fond of. But anyway, over the women's side, it was Aryna Sabalenka who won her first major singles title, dropping just one set throughout the entire tournament, diba? She won that over the Kazakhstani Elena Rybakina. But first, Mookie, when everyone was hyped about the Australian Open because of the possible return of the Spanish maestro.
Yeah.
However, this is a bummer because there will be no Rafael Nadal at the Australian Open. The 22-time Grand Slam winner underwent hip surgery last summer. Tried to return, diba?
Played a few games
in the Brisbane International. But afterwards, he announced that he was withdrawing from the Australian Open with a minor muscle injury. Now, for a tennis fan, that has to suck.
It sucks. He was ramping up. You could see, I think during early December, he already had posts saying that he's back. He's gonna try to compete. He's gonna try to get into shape for the Australian Open. So we were all ready for his return, because honestly, I really missed watching Rafa play during the latter half of actually the entire season last year. So, and the few games that we got, we got some of vintage Rafa shots. We've got some of his reactions. It was really nice to just see him playing again. But, when the news hit last week, it was quite devastating because we were so near. We were so near the Australian Open in Melbourne. But we're going to have to wait a few more weeks again before we see him. And months before we see him in a Grand Slam. But, if this is going to be his last year, if this is going to be his last ride, it's off to a bumpy start. But I'm not counting him out for not winning anything yet.
Although, for a fan of him not being present at the Australian Open, shuts down any possibility of a dream GOAT matchup between Nole and Rafa, slugging it out one more time.
Yeah.
Diba? You wanted...
It would have been good if we started the year.
Yeah.
If we started the year that way, it would have been like a dream
Right.
for tennis fans. But sadly, that won't be the case.
These, I don't know, when you read about it, Mookie, micro tear, you think, yeah, that's nothing. But when you're a pro, all these nagging, like, little injuries, these are really bothersome.
Given it, and at his age, most definitely, and he's coming off an really serious injury too. So, it's really sad, but he wants to take care of his body for the long run. We all understand this. The tennis season is a grueling season, like
With the travel and
8
everything.
months of traveling, playing, just continuing training. So he'll be back. I'm pretty sure he won a few matches already these past few weeks. So it was exciting to see him back. But it would have been really nice to see him. Honestly, I wanted to see him this Australian Open against Alcaraz. I wanted to see him against Carlitos. Just the passing of the torch, just old versus new. Just I wanted to see that. So, but I think we'll get that this season down the line. So we just have to wait a little bit more for Rafa to return.
Well, he did hint that the 2024 could be his farewell tour. So we're hoping the best for Rafael Nadal and hoping for a quick recovery and return. But just imagine, like, how inspiring that story would be. Like, he's gone for more than a year due to injury. Now he's ranked 672. Imagine that. And then if he wins a Grand Slam here or there, I mean, wow, diba? You can't beat that comeback story.
I think he's due for one. I think maybe the French Open. He's the king of clay.
King of fun, but comebacks too.
Yeah, if he's available for that, no question. I put him, like, no matter what rank he is. If he's gonna qualify, I think he's gonna go deep in the French Open. So I'm looking forward to that. But I'm just right now, I just wish him the best. I hope he's getting better, resting the muscles and looking to return as soon as possible, because we all want to see him play right away. Like, the last season is a big deal for any tennis player. We take older athletes for granted because we see LeBron, we see Djokovic, we see Tom Brady just keep on excelling and improving no matter how.
But they're not there forever.
older. But yeah, you see the other side of that with injuries, like Nadal and Federer also. So, hopefully we get to see Rafa this season.
Yeah. But anyway, it's sad that Rafael Nadal will not be competing at the Aussie Open. But still, Mook, there are still plenty of quality players competing in the Australian Open. So, with this being the first major tournament of the year, Mookie and I thought that we'll give you a list of players for both the men's and the women's who, we'd like to keep in mind.
Yeah.
Diba? As we approach the 128 player draw over this weekend. So, Mookie, I'll give you first crack at this. First player to watch out for in the men's side.
Oh, okay. So we're going by 5-1 or any? All right.
Go ahead.
I say my wild card first.
Okay.
I think my wild card is Ben Shelton.
Ooh, I have that too.
You have him too?
Yeah. Sige, go ahead. Why Ben Shelton?
Well, for me, I wasn't really a fan of Ben Shelton during the start of last season. I found him to be, he was really young. He was very youthful. But then you see the grace of Carlos Alcaraz. You see how technical Yannick Sinner is. And then you see Ben Shelton, who's just so talented and so purely, American. This is put it in a way. Like,
the bravado.
He has pride. He likes to joke around. He likes to play mind games. But you can't deny he's really good. He showed us all during the US Open. He put up a fight against Djokovic.
Yeah.
That was a valiant effort in the semifinals for a young player to be in the semifinals, a home slam as well, to be there. I can't wait for what his 2024 looks like, and this is the place to start in the Australian Open to, go deep again, to challenge more, seasoned veterans like Djokovic, like Daniil Medvedev. So hopefully we get to see him go deep this Australian Open.
So, last year, Ben Shelton did make the quarters of the Australian Open, but, his claim to fame was the semi-final duel with Novak over at the US Open. Of course, Ben Shelton, only 21 years old, from Atlanta, Georgia, is the world number 17. And it's always great, no, Mook, when you have a rising American talent in tennis. A couple of years ago, we had Francis Tiafoe ascend. But now this is Ben Shelton's time to progress in his career. Taylor Fritz, the hype kind of died down quick.
Yeah, he didn't have a good last season.
Yeah.
He definitely regressed from his 2022 campaign. But, anything's possible. He's still the top-ranked American. So anything's possible this season. Maybe he can come back. But right now, I have Ben Shelton over him. I even have Tiafoe over him a little bit. I'm giving Tiafoe the edge over Fritz this season.
So, big question for Ben Shelton. Was that US Open semifinal stint a fluke? Or will the rising American star have another breakthrough year? That's something to watch out for. All right, so my turn.
Yes.
My turn. Mookie has, in our conversations now, to our listeners right now, Mookie has always been, a fan of this guy. And I'm talking about the man from Northern Italy with the Gucci commercial, Yannick Sinner.
I love Yannick Sinner.
Yannick Sinner, who has been on the professional circuit for some years already, has the Gucci sponsorship down. Diba? Yeah. But, okay. He has the appearance of pure class, Yannick Sinner. But the Grand Slam victories quite lacking in that department. Okay, what's going for Yannick Sinner? Mookie, extremely powerful first serve.
Yes.
Extremely powerful. One of the quickest first serve. But my biggest question for Yannick is, do you have other weapons in your bag? Because once you get to the latter draws, diba, everyone's bringing out a different card from their table.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yes, you're a heavy hitter, but do you have the dexterity? Do you have the finesse, diba, to counter different styles?
One of the things I love about Sinner is he's very consistent. Just one of the more powerful hitters, you said, but also just, grace under pressure, he has it. He beat Djokovic last season. He beat I think he beat all top 3 players last season. He beat Medvedev, he beat Alcaraz, and he beat Djokovic. So he's shown the capability to hang with the best, to hang with Grand Slam winners. So I'm always rooting for him just because, he has that Federer quality in him where it's really just, you said, class. He's just quality. He plays the game the right way. He's friends with a lot of the players, no bad blood. And the way he moves is just like how a tennis player should move, and I can't wait for him to hopefully ball out in this Aussie Open, but also, just show that he's on par with Carlos Alcaraz. He's on par with Holger Rune. Because those 3 are arguably the 3, next in line to be the Grand Slam winners of this generation.
Yeah.
So I can't wait for them to start winning Grand Slams. I mean, Carlos has the head start on both of them with 2. But Sinner is capable of achieving greatness as early as this season, with winning Grand Slams, winning more ATP titles and Masters. So I can't wait for him to start this season off in Australia.
Okay, so let's see if the Australian Open will be molto bene for Yannick Sinner. Mookie, your turn.
Another one for me. He just won last week in Hong Kong. One of my favorites as well, the Russian Andrei Rublev.
Oh, okay. I didn't have him on my list, but go ahead.
like Andrei Rublev. He's also a very powerful hitter. He's very aggressive. I love the way he just brings it to every opponent, no matter who. He's very fearless. You can see the way he plays. He's very fearless and he doesn't back down from anyone. It's just sometimes he doesn't deliver. Especially when he gets to the latter stages. Sometimes he gets in his head too much. Sometimes the opponent gets in his head. Sometimes the opponent's the one who gets in his head. But hopefully, with a confident win like last week in Hong Kong, that's his first title this season. Hopefully that can carry on in Melbourne and he can go deep. He's projected to be in the quarterfinals. He's part of the top 10 this season. I think he's ranked number 7 in the ATP. So hopefully... Or no, he's ranked 5. I think he's ranked 5. So hopefully he can go the distance this season in Melbourne and be there with like we said, Alcaraz, Djokovic, the usual suspects in the quarterfinals. So I'm rooting for Andrei Rublev.
You went with Russia. I'm going to the other side of Europe. I'm going with the young Dane, Holger Rune. Holger Rune, long future in the game, diba? Mm-hmm. He has already won 4 ATP Tour singles titles so far, but Grand Slam record, he's only reached as far as the quarterfinals. Mm-hmm. Diba? So, Holger Rune has in fact reached number 4 in the world rankings at one point, but diba, for any tennis player, Mookie, the first slam of the year, you really want to make a quick, good impression right there. Diba?
Yes.
Doon pa lang magpakitang gilas ka na eh. Diba?
I think last season, I'll give Tsitsipas this, even if I don't like him. He started off the season really well. He went all the way to the finals, and losing to Djokovic is an honor at this point, especially for the young. I mean, maybe not for the young players, but for us, it's kind of a rite of passage. You lose to Novak in the finals. That's kind of a given. But sadly, he wasn't able to sustain that. He didn't really make a mark for the rest of the season. But, Holger Rune is young. He's hungry. He's very close friends with Carlos Alcaraz. And I think that drives him. Do you watch Breakpoint, the Netflix series?
The new season has come out.
Yeah.
So I have yet to watch the new season, but huge fan of the series.
There's an episode about Holger Rune and Carlos Alcaraz.
Oh.
Yeah. So I won't spoil anything, but
please don't.
Yeah. They have a really good relationship, but they drive each other in, like how, not really rivals, but how peers drive each other.
Yeah.
Further, higher and higher up the pole. So, they root for one another, but at the same time, Rune wants those 2 Grand Slams. He wants to be on that level as Carlos Alcaraz, who's fighting Djokovic.
Yeah.
Who's fighting, for the top rank in tennis. So, I think he's capable. He's shown. He's the quarterfinals of a Grand Slam, notwithstanding, he's gone to a lot of finals. He's won a lot of tours. So hopefully he shows it. He shows it in Melbourne, and I'm like Yannick Sinner over him. So if he proves me wrong, then good for him.
All right.
Carlos Alcaraz is still the top one for me.
So you're going with Carlos Alcaraz.
He's my next one.
Top out our list. Mookie, go ahead.
The top of my list is Carlos Alcaraz.
Okay.
He didn't play last season in the Australian Open.
Yep,
He was injured. I think losing in the US Open after winning Wimbledon kind of set him back, but he's undeniable. Carlos Alcaraz is, I think, the best pure tennis player right now. Yes, Djokovic is the GOAT. Yes, he's been there, but we all know that already. But Carlos Alcaraz is ready to take that next leap, to winning more Grand Slams, like the Australian Open. He's won the US Open, he's won Wimbledon, so I think he's gonna really try his best to knock this one off his bucket list and win Down Under. So, yeah.
So, you heard it, guys. We've got who did we list down, Mookie, for the men's? We got Holger Rune, Yannick Sinner, Carlitos,
Ben Shelton,
and Rublev.
Yes.
So those are our players to watch out for. Although Aussies, I'm sorry, but your homegrown bad boy Nick Kyrgios will be missing his home Grand Slam for the second year in a row.
I know.
Sayang.
I will give an honorable mention to another Australian, Alex de Minaur.
Yeah.
He beat Djokovic a few weeks ago. So that's something to watch out for. And of course, we say our number one is Alcaraz, but really Djokovic is really the number one.
Still.
He's the best. He's clearly above everyone else, but we all just want to see someone else win.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
All right. So, from the men's side, we go over to the girls, where of course the question will be who will dethrone Aryna Sabalenka from her current role as the Australian Open Women's Singles Champion. And I'll start this off, Mookie, by going with her adversary in that final last year, Elena Rybakina. And for sure, Rybakina, who won the Brisbane International just recently.
She beat Sabalenka.
Yeah, will be out to avenge her agonizing defeat at the bigger stage this time. When she comes back for the Australian Open. Get this, no, Mookie, on her way to the 2023 final of that, Rybakina was the first player in over 20 years to beat 3 consecutive major champions in a single edition of the Australian Open. Now, can the Kazakhstani giant killer prove her mettle once again? That's my big question for her.
She can. I'm a very big fan of Rybakina. She is really good. I think last season, during the Australian Open, she was the only one to get a set of Sabalenka. That's already a big achievement in itself because Aryna Sabalenka was a force in that Australian Open. She wanted that. She wanted the Grand Slam win. So you couldn't deny her of that. But Elena Rybakina is so talented. She's also, in terms of physique, as tall as Sabalenka. She's pretty tall.
She's 6 foot.
I know. She's pretty. She's a big woman, but then at the same time, she has the finesse.
Yeah.
She can play against anyone, any style. She's just really naturally gifted. So hopefully, I'm rooting for her this Australian Open to avenge, her loss last season in the finals. So yeah, Elena Rybakina. Oh, she's also in my list.
All right.
Yeah.
So from Rybakina, we go to who, Mookie?
Another one for me, I'm gonna go with, of course, the U.S. Open winner and everyone's favorite tennis player, I think, at the moment, Coco Gauff. Another American. Of course, she's really young. We've known Coco Gauff's name for years now. She started off as being this someone who Serena Williams said that she's next. She's the next great American women's tennis player.
Yeah.
And the U.S. Open was it for her. That was her shining moment. She won everything. She beat a talent like Sabalenka, someone who just kills people in her way, but she was able to withstand it and she got over that hump. So now, can she make it consecutive slams? Hopefully. I'm rooting for Coco Gauff, and it's just such a good story, for someone as highly touted as her, as an early prospect to be. You want her to succeed. You want her to win because, she's very young, but at the same time, she's taken a lot of losses already, big losses, and we've seen her get her first big win. So I'm really proud of her, and I want to see her win some more.
Right. So Coco Gauff, again, only 19 years old. Can you believe that? You mentioned Coco Gauff. So I'm going with whom Coco Gauff faced when she was 15 years old at the US Open. And I'm talking about the comebacking Naomi Osaka. Naomi Osaka, the 26-year-old from Japan, is returning to the tour as a mom.
Yes.
Can you believe it? As a mom now, she returns fresh from the birth of her first child. And she'll be eager to bring her signature tenacity back on the court. Of course, Naomi Osaka, a 2-time winner of the Australian Open. She's going to be back in Melbourne. And for sure, Mookie, Naomi Osaka will be trying to regain her number 1 ranking.
I think she's lower ranked than Rafa is. I think she's around the 800 mark. But, what's her rank when you have 4 Grand Slams under your belt and you're as talented as Naomi Osaka? You're right. She took a lot of time off due to some mental health issues and her being, giving birth to her child. So very happy for her that she's in this stage of her life where she's comfortable to be back in playing tennis, professional tennis, and hopefully she can make a deep run. This is her first major tournament in a while. So to ease back in such a big stage like this, you never know. You never know. She's been in the top, she's been at the top before. So I can definitely see a world in she just going all the way again. Because when she's on, she's also really, really good.
So okay, we got Elena Rybakina, Coco Gauff, Naomi Osaka, Mookie. Who's next?
Last year's champion, Aryna Sabalenka, who is also a big part of the Breakpoint series on Netflix.
Yeah.
She's just so aggressive while playing. That's one of her things. Her personality on the court is like, she has a tattoo of a lion on her forearm, and
she's the tigress.
Tigress, and
Tigress.
she's a tiger on the court.
Yep.
She roars. She plays with her heart, and you see it every time. The way she hits, the way she moves. She always wants to win, and she's always there. She's always there, battling either in the semis or in the finals. She just can't get over the hump. But look to her to defend the one Grand Slam, she's won so far in her career. So, can't wait to see her title defense in Melbourne.
Right. And to end our list of players to watch for the women's side, I'm going with the player whom Sabalenka kind of has a rivalry going on with. And that's the player who regained her number one ranking to end the year from Arina Sabalenka. I'm talking about the Polish hammer in Iga Swiatek, 22 years of age, 4 Grand Slams under her belt. But Mookie, for all that Iga Swiatek has achieved in her young career, she hasn't progressed past the semis at the Australian Open.
She struggled in Australia. I don't know what it is. She's done really well everywhere else. But, you're right. In terms of that's one hump she wants. She's achieved so much already in her career, but that's one hump you want her to get over. And, you say the rivalry between 1 and 2. Arina Sabalenka and Iga Swiatek is like one of the... Hopefully we get it. That's one of my dream matches in the Australian Open. I want to see that number 1 and 2 just battle it out. Because you're right, like Sabalenka was number 1 for, I think...
For a few months.
Yeah, for the latter half of the year until Swiatek won it back. So, I can't wait. I'm also a big fan of Iga. She's just really so good. You see how she wins.
Never rattled.
Methodically. She puts donuts on the board against her opponents.
Yeah.
People are... her opponents struggle so much just trying to win against her. Win a set against her, let alone a whole match. So, I can't wait. That's the matchup I'm looking for, 1 and 2. That's like the... If that happens in the final, if they meet in the finals, then I am so ready. I'm so ready to watch that match.
Same here, Mookie. Same here. Okay, just to end it, any wild card entries in the women's side?
My wild card entry is the winner of the last season's Wimbledon, Marketa Vondrousova. She's also really good. She upset Ons Jabeur, who...
That's my wild card entry.
Ons Jabeur. Marketa Vondrousova is just like what you said about Swiatek. You could see she's very calm under pressure. She doesn't really get rattled. You just like, if it's a close match, I just like her more than like a lot of the players on tour, because no matter how seeded, how higher seeded her opponent is, she doesn't think about that.
Yeah.
She just thinks that she can beat them. And she's proven it. She's a Grand Slam winner, so she's my wild card bet for this Australian Open.
On the other side of the spectrum, 2023 was full of heartbreak for Ons Jabeur. You've reached three Grand Slam finals just to become the bridesmaid in all 3.
Heartbreaking.
I mean, just how mentally devastating is that? I mean, on your... It's hard to swallow. Okay, it's very hard to take in. But you were there, 3 out of the 4, and to lose in the biggest stages. Diba?
Pretty devastating fashions too. There was some of those matches where she was up. She was really up in some of those matches. But
so, and then my big question for Ons Jabeur: do you still have the inner resolve to compete one more time in one more Grand Slam? Diba? And maybe, just maybe, this time, seal the deal.
I hope she does. I also love Ons Jabeur. I just like people who, carry the load of not just, themselves, but just, she carries the load of Africa. She's an African-born player. Yeah. And I'm just rooting for her because, to symbolize something as great as that, hope for, like, not just a country like
for Tunisia,
but, like, the whole continent. Like, to open doors, like, African players can play tennis. These are... You can see Ons Jabeur battling for Grand Slams. So hopefully she gets her coveted first Grand Slam, because you talk about players who deserve a win, the biggest win. definitely needs it at this point in her career. To compare someone, this is pretty, but to compare someone to an NBA, I just thought of this comp. She reminds me a lot of Jimmy Butler. She's really good. Like, she's a killer when, during the quarters, during the semis, she's gonna win. She's gonna rip your heart out, much like Jimmy Butler can. He's just a menace during the playoffs. But
when it really matters,
can't quite get it done. On Jabeur quite can't get it done. But hopefully, this season, just even if it doesn't happen during the Australian Open, I'm really rooting for her this season to finally get a Grand Slam win.
Seems to me the women's side is more wide open, don't you think?
Yes.
Yeah,
It's fun to watch, honestly. It's fun to watch. That's why I didn't really like to the men's side at least. I didn't want to acknowledge Nole that much because we know
it's a given.
We know. But then the women's side, I think last season all the 4 Grand Slams went to different winners. So that's exciting. I like that. I like it in sports in general. You like it when those happen. Much like in the NBA, not a repeat champion in a while. So it's very fun to watch. So hopefully it's more of that this season. But during this Australian Open, I can't wait. I can't wait for next week.
All right, so you've heard it now from Mookie and I, our top 10 players to watch in the 2024 Australian Open. Guys, the Rod Laver Arena is going to be rocking soon. The 2024 Australian Open will be held at Melbourne Park from January 14 to January 28. So at the end of this month, Mookie, we'll be recapping that tournament. Well, I guess that does.
Yep.
That's about it for this episode of Radyo Katipunan Sports. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. But Mookie, Big Blue shout out before we end.
Jared Bahay.
Okay.
Welcome home. Welcome back home to the Blue Eagles.
Well-deserved Big Blue shout out. All right, guys. That does it for this episode of Radyo Katipunan Sports. Thank you so much to the hardworking production team behind RK. Thank you to my co-anchor, Mookie B. Welcome back.
Yes.
My man. And most of all, thank you to our Blue Eagle Nation for tuning in and supporting Loyola Heights' #1 sports radio show. Guys, please, again, don't hesitate to send in your comments, questions, greetings. We'll be glad to get back to you in our next episode. Once again, this is Anthony saying goodbye, one big fight, and see you again soon. Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year, everyone. Thank you.
All right, bye-bye. Peace.
Welcome to RK Sports, where we take you right into the action with the highlights, insights, and analysis of the sports scene in, around, across, and beyond the Ateneo. With your hosts, Anthony Perez and Mookie Borja. Katipunan. Game on.
Radyo Katipunan,